Jeremy Piven is with us. Jeremy, very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Good. Look, you look like you're in pain for a start. So what's happening here? You're holding your head. The interview's barely begun, for goodness sake.
Yeah, no, listen, what I'm hoping is you ask me, what can we expect from you when you come to do stand-up comedy?
Right.
That's the question. I'm just, and my life will be peaking.
Okay.
If I could explain why I'm funny to you, I will literally, my pleasure gland will be exploded.
Okay. Listen, what I do, because I've been in this game a very long time, what I do is
Yes.
I build up to that because I don't want to.
You build up to it.
Oh yeah.
And then we explode together.
Yeah, we explode together. You don't want to do this in minute number 1 because by minute 12 and 13 going to be so boring. It's just like,
Well, yes, absolutely.
Now, let me ask you a couple of questions. First of all, I read, I don't know this to be true, but I read you live in Malibu. If that's true, 1, were you affected by the fires? 2, even if you weren't, what's been the rebuild?
I no longer live in Malibu. There is no rebuild. It's all just sitting there. We had a fire captain whose priority was diversity. I thought it would be water. She did a great job. We're scrambling, my man. We're scrambling. It's tragic. These people have all been displaced in the Palisades. I'm up in the hills and got very lucky. The winds died down and the helicopters sprayed some water, and we got very lucky out here. But it's tragic, and all of us can say you got to do better. But I don't know what it's like to have a reservoir where there's no water. Listen, to be honest with you, I unpack a lot of this in my stand-up because it's frustrating, and yet we all need to come together and laugh, because everyone's been through it, man. We're all very confused about life. And so what better way to all get together and have a good laugh?
That is true. Second question I asked, because it's interesting, the news cycle, even here in New Zealand, we were absorbed by what was going on in the Palisades and the hills and all that sort of stuff for a period of time. Then suddenly, no one cares, we've all moved on. But I'm assuming there's a lot of people who are still suffering, still looking for insurance, still trying to rebuild, still trying to get their life.
Well, I think the reason why you're not hearing about it, and this is a much longer conversation, but the media is a funny, fickle beast, and there's a 24-hour news cycle that you're well aware of, and you do get to see some guys who are out there who are throwing some drones up, and nothing's been touched whatsoever. In Malibu, for instance, nothing has been done, and something needs to be done. We're these people. They want to get back in at some point. We all pay a lot in taxes, so we're curious what's happening.
Yeah, exactly. Dovetailing in, but slightly separate. The strike of Hollywood, I read that the industry has never come back. So in other words, they got what they wanted, AI's coming, pay me some more money, but then people got laid off. The number of productions made these days is nothing like it used to be. Hollywood's in trouble, the work dries up. Is that true?
There's so many different variables that go into all this. I can't tell what has led to what. You know what I mean? It's my job. I just finished a movie in the UK called Past Lives, and I've been on the road doing stand-up, and it's my job right now just to kind of run around and get up on stage and interact with people and have a great time and make people laugh. And stand-up comedy's never been more popular, I think, because of all the frustrations that we're unpacking here.
If I watched Mr. Selfridge, which I did, by the way, and I thought that was the greatest show, it was just, I take it was a hit. It seemed like a hit to me, was it?
Well, I'll put it to put it in this perspective. We sold that show to 165 countries.
Wow.
And that's more than Entourage. Now, in the States, no one's seen it. because it was on PBS, and they're incredible. I watch PBS, but it's funded by the public, so they get annually about $11 to play with and to kind of disperse it evenly amongst all the billboards. Yeah, I mean, it was a rude awakening for me. I was like, I got this show, guys, let's go. And they're like, we don't have any money. We don't have any money? Oh, no money. Seriously. And so the show in the States went under the radar. Listen, there are people of certain demographics that watch PBS that love the show. In the UK, it was huge. In Ireland, it was huge.
Yeah.
Maybe with you guys, I hope.
Oh, it was. It was fantastic. That's why you just these days you never can tell because something gets a bit of noise. Is it really a hit? I don't know. I loved it, so that's all that counts.
That is all that counts. And I was wondering who was watching, and you're the guy.
That was me. That was
That
me.
was you. Well done.
Exactly. Because the thing is, can I admit to you? Well, I think I can actually. I never watched Entourage. Everyone said I'm doing Piven, and they went, "Oh my God, Ari Gold, whoa, Entourage!" And I went, "Yeah, no, I never saw that, but I saw Selfridge was brilliant. I never saw Entourage." So everyone's a fan until they're not.
Yeah, well, listen, thank you. You're an anomaly in my life, and I love that because, when I tour around doing stand up, they're screaming, I'm a douchebag because of you, Ari. Let's hug it out, bitch. And these things mean nothing to you. Maybe someday they will, but they've really, Ari's demeanor, he was always taking the piss.
Yeah.
And they love it in New Zealand and the UK and Australia. So I know in those countries, when I hear that accent, I know they're coming over. So for instance, I could reach out to Joe Parker and then he and I could go back and forth, and I'm going to, he's one of your own. He's a superstar.
Where are you getting this stuff from? This Joe Parker, is it, hang on here. Have you done as a comedian, I'll do the local intel and I'll drop in a New Zealand name, or do you know Joe Parker? We love Joe Parker. Joe Parker's my friend.
He's one of the good guys.
Yeah.
And when those guys win, it makes you really happy.
That is true. He's bigger. He's bigger than he's ever been. He's going to be, I think, title holder. He's going to be a world champion.
Wouldn't that be incredible? I just got the chills because that's one of those stories where, a guy works his ass off.
Yeah.
And, under the radar has always been really good. They counted him out and he never gave up. So I love that.
I love that. Do you support the Bulls or the Bears? I couldn't get that right. Do you support, because that's applicable to the Bears because they constantly get, or is it the Bulls you support?
I only support guys that Josh Giddey and people in Australia play for, and that would be the Chicago Bulls. See, I'm tailor-making all of this to your region.
This is incredible. Although you've surely worked out when you don't regionalise it, you go to Australia, New Zealand it, because there's a New Zealand-Australia thing between the countries, and if you turn up and start talking Australian, no one's going to like you, and vice versa.
Well, I don't know if you saw this clip that went viral, but I was in Australia doing some shows, and I loved it there. They were the best shows I've ever done. I'm not just saying that. And that's why I've never been to New Zealand. I can't wait to get there. But they interviewed me at a pro basketball game.
Yes, I saw it, yeah.
Yeah, and you have to understand, they kind of like edited it. So you didn't see the lead up, which is they asked me in character as Ari Gold, how would you address the team? You're down 12 points going into the halftime. And that's when I launched into,
yes, you did.
Things that you can't say on television.
That's right.
Because I just they unleashed the beast. And I became Ari Gold, and I started swearing on live TV. And so I apologize, but I will say sorry, not sorry.
No, that's fair enough too. See, the difference would have been if I'd been at the basketball, I would have asked you, what would Mr. Selfridge have said to the team at halftime, and that would have been a whole different thing.
It would have been totally different. I would have talked about the fact that the customer is always right.
That's right.
We need to embrace modernity. It would have been a snooze fest, my friend. It would have been the cure for insomnia, that interview.
Exactly. Now, listen, the other thing I need to cover off with you, because I've gone through it a couple of months ago, I'm led to believe you turned 60 in July. Am I correct in saying this?
No, I mean, look at me. They have it all
obviously.
wrong.
No, I mean, obviously, if I look at you, you can't be turning 60, but I'm led to believe from research that it could be 60.
No, it's 40, 50, it's something.
Right.
I don't know where it is.
Right.
Exactly. I'm not a fan of
Numbers?
no, I'm like a Cuban baseball player. I am whatever I feel.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I need to go into the skincare game.
Oh, really? You're damn straight you do. But having said that, are you going to be doing something in July for your 40, 50, whatever you feel, or you...
You know, I haven't even gotten there yet.
Right.
But I do need to do something.
Sure.
And, you know, I love performing. I love getting up on stage. I'll be in my hometown of Chicago performing at the Vic. I know I'm with you guys in New Zealand. What theater am I at? Do you know?
Well, it depends where you are. I mean, where do you want to be? I mean, I've got you at Sky in Auckland. Sky Theatre in Auckland. That's a good place.
That's a beautiful place. I'm very lucky. What is the date that I'm performing? Do you know?
This is very clever, Jeremy. You've been in this game quite a while. You've been in this game at a long time. It happens, I have it in front of me because I too am a pro with details ready to hand. You're there Thursday, July 31.
July 31. Wow, so you're the first show that I'm doing after my birthday.
First show since 40 or 50 or 60 or whatever it is.
Whatever it is, what I'll do is, why don't we all celebrate my birthday together?
There you go.
Because I'm still going to be drunk. Let's be honest.
Right.
I'm a total degenerate.
Right.
And I'm going to play through with some adult beverages, and we're all going to hug it out.
Why not?
I'm saying things that you don't even know what hug it out means.
I know what hug it out means. What are you talking about? You hug it out. Come on, hug it out. That's what you do.
Oh, well, that's my catchphrase from Entourage was, let's hug it out, bitch.
Oh, I didn't know the bitch bit, but...
Well, hug it out, if you know that, it comes from me. That comes from an improv that I did on Entourage. I feel like I'm explaining a joke you've never heard.
You did not invent hug it out.
1,000%.
On your life, hand on heart, you invented hug it out.
Well, I improvised the line in Entourage, and it did become a catchphrase. Okay. Why don't you ask some of your, if you have any friends, ask them.
Listen, we're looking forward to seeing you in the country post your birthday, on your birthday, whatever it is, and it's been a joy to meet and talk with you, and maybe come.
Listen, Joe Parker's going to be at the show. Okay,
of course he's going to be at the show. I'm
going to prove to you that he's a friend of mine.
Well, I don't not believe that he's not a friend. I just don't believe you invented hug it out. I believe that Joe's a friend. I believe you might or might not be turning 60. I don't believe you invented hug it out. But either way, we'll sort it out. When you're here, come in and see us, and we'll chat some more.
I would be honored to come by and visit. Why don't you call Joe or text Joe, and you ask him about that question? Hug it out, bitch. Did that come from Piven on Entourage? And you're gonna see that I'm a man of my word.
Okay. Well, I got it. For now, Jeremy. By the way, I'm living like Piven. I'm living like Piven.
I love it. How you living, Jay Piven?
I'm living like Jay Piven. Lovely to talk and chat with you, and come see us when you're in the country.
I'll see you soon.